today. We've got Captain David Bacon, we've got Doc Ski, we've got Bill Batson, and we got Alex Salmons aboard. Today we're going to be talking about different types of blanks that we all use, and Doc's got some surprises up his sleeve. So with that, I'm going to change it over to Captain David Bacon to talk about some of the stuff that he uses.
Avast me, hearties. My favorite kind of information is useful information. So let's do some of that that'll help you figure out how to get a rod built or how to build that rod yourself. And I think what I got to help you with here may just turn into some fish on your deck. Captain Tiffany Vague has been building my rods for a very long time. I'm pretty exacting, and she listens closely, adds her experience, thoughts, and opinions, and then builds me rods that stand up to the demands of a busy charter captain and my wild-eyed passengers who often get abusive with rods by doing things like high sticking them. So here are a few specs for rods I use in various specific fishing applications. And I hope this helps you choose the right blanks and components and styles for your rods. First is bounce balling for halibut, which is increasing in popularity all up and down the coast because it is so effective. And for that, I want a Rain Shadow REVSJ 70 MH, 7 foot, 20 to 50 pound, medium action Rain Shadow blank. With a sturdy backbone, but enough action in the last several inches to show me the rod tip twitch when the Dodger blade kicks during the slow troll. I have Tiffany use Hypalon or EVA grips and an aluminum reel seat. Guides gotta be tough enough for constant abrasion of braided line, and I want 8 Alps XN guides plus the tip on the 7 foot blank for even distribution of power. I have her wrap fish designs into the art area between the foregrip and the first guide. This build is how the Bacon Sticks became a blood and guts trusted rod, and it's multi-purpose because it also serves well as a trolling rod for surface game fish. Now, white sea bass fishing, that can be tough on a rod during the fight, especially at the end with a tanker white sea bass very close to the boat. We get those things up to 50, 60 pounds, even bigger than that sometimes. For this application, I also go with a 7 foot Rain Shadow REVSJ 70M blank with a 20 to 40 pound medium heavy action because I don't need as much sensitivity for this application as I do for bounce balling. I want 8 Alps MXN guides plus the tip, Hypalon grips, and an aluminum reel seat. I have Tiffany build it as a white sea bass specific variation of a Bacon Sticks. Another favorite thing of mine is casting for calico bass at island boiler rocks or next to kelp beds. That requires a magical casting rod, and I have Tiffany begin with a slender 9 foot, 15 to 30 pound Rain Shadow JDGL B810 blank. I want to be able to make hundreds of casts in a day, so I have her use 10 Alps MXN guides plus the rod tip, or plus the tip, and cork grips above and below a graphite reel seat for a low profile or round bait cast reel. I use this rod so much that I have to love it, so I have her weave artwork on there like a calico bass. Okay, another one, rockfish and lingcod are caught at varying depths, sometimes over 300 feet, and that can make heavier blanks more desirable. However, in general, I have Tiffany build this rod on a 7 foot, 20 to 40 pound medium action, like Rain Shadow JDG LB 710 ML blank. I need good sensitivity to help me feel soft bites at depths, and then I decide whether to leave the smaller fish down there to act as a bigger bait for a monster lingosaur. I opt for 8 very tough Alps MXN guides plus a tip. Since I use braided line for rockfish and lingcod, I asked Tiffany to put on an aluminum reel seat and straight wrapped cord grips for secure handholds when things get slimy. Salmon trolling, now that requires a special solution because along much of the coast, barbless hooks are a requirement, and because downriggers are commonly used. The blank of choice for me is about a 15 to 30 pound, 9 foot, light medium action, like a Rain Shadow SW 1087 blank with 10 Alps MXN guides plus a tip. The long and light rod helps take up slack quickly to keep the barbless hook in the fish as it does head tosses as the line detaches from the downrigger stop and also during the fight. I have Tiffany use a graphite reel seat and cork tape rear and fore grips with tuna cord in the grooves of the tape for combination of lightweight and secure handhold. Okay, casting baits and lures to kelp patties and surface action for Dorado, like also known as mahi-mahi and dolphin fish, depending on where you go fishing for them. Yellowtail, small tuna, bonita, barracuda. It requires a different rod, and I have Tiffany start with an 8 foot, 20 to 40 pound light medium action, like a Rain Shadow JDGL B80 ML blank to give me the casting range I need. And once I have a good fish on, I'll wish I could fight it with a stick or stick, but I won't get a fish on if I can't place the bait or lure well out away from the boat. It's a good compromise. I want 9 Alps MXN guides plus the tip, and I want this built as a Deckhand style rod with no reel scoop. For the utmost importance, I want the full Deckhand grip done with her now famous Tiffany grip woven tuna cord, so that no matter how wet, cold, and slimy my hand gets, I have a secure, solid, non-slip grip. Now, for bigger tuna, I want a 6.5 foot, 80 pound or more Rain Shadow, like a RC TB, extra heavy blank with 8 Alps MXN guides plus the tip. Since I use braided line, I use round guides rather than roller guides because braid can get caught between the rollers and the frame of roller guides. I want an aluminum reel seat, and both the rear and fore grips are Tiffany grip woven tuna cord for 2 reasons. One, the grip is tough enough to function as a rail rod. And 2, I can keep a secure grip no matter how wet and slimy and fatigued my hands get. In the area between the foregrip and the first guide, I have Tiffany weave a badass pirate skull with glowing red eyes. When I fight with this rod, I just sort of sing along with it, bad to the bone. It helps me catch fish. And anything that helps me catch fish is a good thing. While I never feel that I have enough rods in my quiver, I don't think any angler does. The above rods are my go-to must-have because I can trust them to get the job done set. Captain Tiffany, her rods do not fail me, and I'm careful not to high stick them because that breaks even the best rods. And these builds that I described, each person may want a slightly different variation on that, but this is what works for me. And I recommend you have her make you a set or build them yourself with blanks and components from vaguerods.net.
I've been passing over people over to Alex because I am about 9 months out and I haven't been cleared yet. So if you guys need your rods to be billed right now, contact Alex. Bill, you have some new upcoming Rain Shadow blanks that you just got out on. And what is your favorite Rain Shadow blank since you make them?
Well, we have I think we've designed over 2,000 different blanks, but the ones that Captain's been using are one of my favorites. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Judge blank.
No,
I mean,
you can't.
that Judge live bait blank is amazing. We have them from 8, 10 in 3 different powers. We have them in 8 foot in 3 different powers. We have them in 7 foot in like 4 or 5 different powers. You know, with that graphite back end, with that carbon weave, and that S-glass tip, you know, it gets that nice action with that S-glass tip.
Yeah.
I mean, the sensitivity and the action you get with that, and with that backbone, you can't go wrong with the Judge. So I'm going to go with Captain on this one and say one of my favorite lines is the Judge line, the JDGLBs. And we also make it in a crankbait series, the JDB CBs, which I use for a lot of different things, not just for throwing crankbaits. Just because it's a crankbait blank doesn't mean you have to use it for crankbaits. But it has a really nice mid-flex action that I can go catch, you know, redfish with if I'm down in Louisiana, or if I want to go catch tule tunas or yellowtails, I could take that 710 extra heavy and fish almost anything with it. So I'm a big fan of the Judges, that's for sure. It's one of our most popular lines. Like I said, we stock over 500 different models, so it's really tough to pick your favorite. You know, I got to fish them all, right? So I get a lot of research and development in, you know. But yeah, we did come out with some new blanks this year, some really nice blanks. I got a couple here, and I'm going to show the pattern, which is a cool outer inlay pattern that we did on the blanks. It kind of looks like a fish scales, or some people call it the mermaid scale look. And I came out with some new,
Gorgeous.
yes, thank you. I came out with some new lighter, for lack of a better word, like the Shimano Trevally style, smaller diameters, stiffer, but light in your hand. I think we came out with 6 new models, from a 5.8 extra heavy that's rated like 60 to 120 or something like that, and a couple 4 different 6.6 models. And they can be built from a spinning rod to a casting rod. I'm a big fan of spiral wrap, so any of my heavier rods are going to be a spiral wrap design, so you don't get the torque in your hand when you're fighting a fish. Your forearms don't get sore. You can just, you know, I'm a lefty, obviously, so I'm reeling lefty. But yeah, so we did come out with a bunch of new blanks, and I'm sure you can go to the Vega website and she'll have a link to our new products catalog. You can see all the new blanks we came out with. We came out with some travel blanks. I'm going to show you a couple of things. Let me see. Don't worry, Doc. You're good.
Yeah, it's funny. While Bill's getting those, I have a Judge live bait 810 ml right here that I was going to show off later, because that's
you
I'm a
can't go
big
wrong
fan of
with
that now.
Judge. So what was cool
Judges
this
are
year,
the best.
that I really liked about our new offerings is our travel series. So I made two travel series blanks. I made a 6-foot heavy, which is an all S glass, and it's in 3-piece. So this has been the hot seller for us for the last couple of months. It's a 3-piece.
Nice.
And that's a 6-foot model. So that's on my desk. This can be put in your carry-on along with your reel. So if you're a traveling fisherman and you're going to go catch anywhere from amberjack to tuna, you name it. I mean, any kind of bottom fishing you're going to want to do, take it to Alaska and catch halibut with it. You know, what we did here is a spigot ferrule design, which is a little different. People don't know. I don't know. Spigot ferrule design.
Yeah.
And it goes in this way. And I cut the foregrip on this one, so you can see it just hides underneath the foregrip here, right? And I'll have a roller guide on my first one, because I'm going to run probably a 30 wide on something like this with the Alps heavy guides on, and then a roller top. The Alps roller top, and with the Alps heavy guides, real simple wrap. Spigot ferrule design. The rod will bend through the ferrule this way. A lot of the old school stuff, remember the old guys used to say they didn't like anything that wasn't a 1-piece because of the flat spots.
Right.
The technology nowadays, you won't even know there's a ferrule there or a spigot there or any kind of thing. So,
well, Bill, traveling anglers need that. That's a hot item right there.
Yeah, this is a really nice one, and I make a 6'6" in a lighter version, which is, this one is rated 30 to 50. I fish 80-pound braid on this and pull halibut off the bottom. But I also make a 20-40 and a 6'6". This is the 6-foot version, but I have a medium heavy RCJB, which is our jigging blanks, very popular in California as well, in a travel series. I went to Guatemala, and the lodge I was at, they use all the RCJB 78 MHs pitching for sailfish. And the owner said, "Hey, Bill, can you make this in a 3-piece and put it in a tube so I can sell it to all my clients?" I said, "Sure, I can."
Sure.
So I took that same blank and made a spigot ferrule design. So now that people want to go travel, they can use it for sailfish. I was catching mahis. I mean, you can catch mahi. You can catch anything with it. We've caught rooster fish with them while we were there. But to be able to travel with your rod, I mean, have a custom-made rod, because Rain Shadow doesn't sell a finished product, because we're the nuts and bolts of the fishing rod industry. We don't compete with anybody on a built rod program, but we sell all the parts and pieces. So to have a custom rod made that you can put in your bag along with your reel, because if you're a traveling fisherman, the worst thing you want to do is you want to get to a place where you can fish and they don't have any gear for you, or you get on a boat that doesn't have very good gear. You know, sometimes that happens if you don't know who the outfitter is. To be able to take your own rod and reel is an amazing thing to do. So learn how to build or find a builder.
Yeah. Hey,
You know,
Bill, Arnie Sicko was asking if that rod has a curve, or is that the camera lens doing that?
Oh, it must be the camera lens, because as far as a curve, no, it's a straight blank. I mean, most of the Rain Shadow blanks you're going to get are going to be straight. If there's a 1/4 inch, I mean, that is towards the tip. As long as it's not a double dog leg or curly tail at the end, it's a good blank to build on.
yeah.
It must be the camera.
Yeah.
You know, that
definitely.
story behind how that rod came about is just such a classic story, because we get into all these situations in fishing, and especially when you're traveling to go fishing, where you just come up with another need that you look around and there is no such thing. And so then people contact someone like you, Bill, who can make it happen. And you've got the experience that you can listen to them and go, "Oh yeah, I see that need." And then you become the mother of invention, or the papa of invention, as the case may be.
Yeah, no, it's a really good position to be in. You know, we're the #1 supplier in the nation, and people contact us with all kinds of things, from a fancy CAD drawing from some of the big companies down to a napkin some smaller guy made. He drew a design of something he's thinking, and for us to be able to take stuff like that and find and develop that product line for them is amazing. It's amazing.
I think I've seen that napkin. It came from a bar in Baja, right?
Yeah, more than once, I think. A lot of things happen in Baja.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah.
But there's a case of something that didn't that happened in Baja but didn't stay in Baja.
Yeah, exactly. The new design color, I don't know if anybody saw it. I'm sure you get a better picture on our website, but this is another rod that we designed. But the pattern, I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. Go on Tiffany's website and take a look on the new products. You'll be able to see what we call the mermaid scale. And another rod we came out with this. Guys want to go surf fishing, but they don't have a big car. They want to ride their motorcycle to the beach. We did a 4-piece surf rod. We did in 6 different models, from a light, which is like a 6 to 12, all the way up to a heavy, more like a 15 to 30, but a 9'6" 4-piece. And this has that same spigot ferrule designs.
It goes up to 20 to 40, actually.
It goes to 20 to 40, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then, so it's a 4-piece 9'6". I travel with these types of rods all the time. I travel all over the country, and this is my new little surf rod that I can go whipping off the beach in Hawaii and catch papillos or little GT.
Rich knows all about this.
Yeah, you know, so I travel a lot, so it's nice to have the travel rod. So we see more and more travel rods.
I'm thinking, I am seeing these days a lot more people on e-bikes, regular bikes still too, but a lot more people on e-bikes, and they got a little pack of stuff, and they're heading down to the beach. And you know, that thing that you just held up, here's yet another case of there's a very specific need, and here's the solution to it. So I think that is helping, like, surf fishing grow, because of the mobility added benefit of like e-bikes and things like that. And so I think that one is one that's going to fill a growing need.
Yes, most definitely. And these things take years for development. I mean, um, we'll get the prototypes and we'll go fish them. We'll send them out to other people. I mean, we have people like Nicky Vu is a good friend of mine. He likes to fish that that shoreline stuff. So we'll send it to them and they'll fish it for a year and they'll give us their feedback. So we get that kind of feedback from people all over the world. I mean, yes, we do a lot of fishing. We have a lot of knowledge here, but with our customer base and our pro staff that are all over the world, we get so much good feedback. I mean, and for us to be able to bring it to market and offer these types of things is just phenomenal. My family's been doing this for 46 years in the rod building industry. I grew up in the industry, and it's really cool to be able to have this type of company that supports and does a lot of good things for people.
That's right. And now we're talking 3 generations now.
Yeah.
And I remember your son working with Tiffany in one of her classes, talking about acid wrap design, as I recall. And he did a great job. She got a lot of good compliments on him, and it was just all good. So it is just such a feel good thing, I guess, especially for me, since we have a multi-generational business too. It just makes me feel good about you guys to watch that happen.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we just want to help the fishing industry and have everybody, because this is the recreational industry, and this is what people do for their downtime. And I want to make it as enjoyable as possible. And by having a good tool, I'm going to go cut down a tree. I'm not going to take a handsaw. I'm going to take a chainsaw, and I'm going to do it right and make sure that I don't have to work so hard and I enjoy what I'm doing, like the e-bike. So I like to go biking, but I like the e-bikes because I don't have to pedal and I can still get somewhere on a bike. So I'm a big fan of those e-bikes.
I'm a little puzzled by the ones that I see people pedaling when they're on their e-bikes. I'm
I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm thinking, are you turning that into an exercise machine, or isn't the idea that you don't have to do that?
Yeah, I think they're probably doing it for a little bit of exercise too. Yeah.
That's
so
fair.
Another one I want to take. Everybody's seen this color? This is our new seafoam. We call it seafoam. My wife says it's not seafoam green, but I call it seafoam because I'm colorblind. But this is the new color that we came out with. We came out with 500. We had 500 come in on their first run, and they sold out within 3 days. So I'm going to have more in soon. I know a lot of people are mad at me. Bill, you brought this out and you didn't bring it out. I didn't think I was going to sell 500 pieces in 3 days, but I did. And so that'll be back in stock soon. I'm going to say next month we'll have everything with the trim rings and all the different types of reel seats. So those are a couple new items we have at Batson's, and people love it. So like I said, go to Tiffany's website. You can see all of the Batson products. She is a Batson dealer. I know that she gives deals on if you take her class or if you buy something from her. Work with Tiffany. She's been great. She does a great job. She's a fine builder, and it's been a pleasure partnering with her.
And it's been a blast with you guys. I love you guys.
Thanks.
So,
Doc, you want to show something?
Well, I know that Tiffany's teaching classes, mostly I'm sure it's beginning, teaching the basics and stuff. But usually when people get into building rods, we end up going, you know what, I want to make it a little fancy. So what I've done is a lot of work in the fancy end of things. Of course, weaving and cross wrapping and all that stuff. It's really intricate work and very time consuming. But one of the things that one of our builders has shared with us is the tiger wrap. Scott Throop decided he'd let out his signature technique, and it's called a tiger wrap. Now I'm just going to give a real quick basic idea of what a tiger is. A tiger is 2 layers of thread.
Slide over, little Doc. Get in the middle of the camera. There you go. Look at the camera, Doc.
A tiger is 2 layers of thread. The bottom layer is a solid layer. Then there's a bunch of finish. And then the top layer is an open layer. You remove one of the threads in the series of threads that you wrap. It's a very simple technique that just about anybody could master in a hurry. The problem is that there's so many variables. Thread is inconsistent, diameters of blanks change, so many things going on. So I've been doing a ton of work on trying to figure out how to make it easier for people to master this technique. One of the things that I came up with and that I found is that just about any combination of threads can make a beautiful tiger wrap, anything you want, whether you want stripes or whether you want the lava lamp look, it doesn't matter. You can come up with it, and it revolves around the gap size of the top layer. So what I did is I got some Lexan tubes, some clear tubes, and I made a bunch of different gap size top layer wraps. So one time I would put an A thread and remove, do three A threads and remove 2 A threads. Next time, maybe I do an A thread and remove a D thread. So I did a lot of variations. I've got a box full of samples, but this one I just did just for a quick show and tell. And I used 2 different types of thread for my remaining thread. A bullard, or now it's called voodoo size A, and a voodoo size D. And each of the segments that's in this is a different sacrificial thread. Now, I'm going to show you why I do it, and I'm going to have to get up here. Is that clear?
You need help, Doc?
Is that clear, folks?
It up a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to slide on one of my samples, and you can see the pattern starting to form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you see this
Beautiful.
one is more stripy, and this one is more, let's call it more lava lamp look.
Lava lamp. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if it came up in the 60s, you know what a lava lamp is. Anyway, and then as I go, you see it gets more stripy again. And that's because of the different gap sizes. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, let me do one more. That was with the size D thread. Bill's going to hold that.
I got you on this end, Doc.
Okay. And this is with size A thread. A thread is the one I'm keeping. And it's same thing's happening. Real stripy, a little less stripy, more bag, more bag.
No pun intended.
No, I was just going to say that. That was a good one. No pun intended.
But you can see how the lines are stretching out. Instead of being stripes, they're stretching out. So you can get whatever pattern you want by just changing the gap size.
And how do you change the gap size, Doc?
Pardon?
How do you change the gap size?
You use different threads as your sacrificial.
There you go.
So, now people say, why don't you make these for it? It doesn't matter if I make it, because each of us wrap with different tension.
Mm-hmm.
So people that want to try something like this need to make their own. And the reason they need to make their own is because you have a technique and you have a tightness that you wrap. So if I made it for you, it's my tightness and it wouldn't work.
Exactly.
If you make it, you can go on there and you go, okay, it looks like size A with the sacrificial D NCP is what I need. That's your starting point. If it doesn't work and it's still not working for you, because like I said, there's so many inconsistencies, even in the same thread company and sometimes even in the same spool. If that thread tension that they wrapped that thread with changes, so does the size and the diameter of the thread. So what you have to do is use a starting point, and let's say a bull or a voodoo A with a sacrificial D is what I want from this. It looks like that's what I want, but when I wrap it on the rod, it doesn't come out right. Remember, maybe a little bit bigger gap gives you what you want. If you go to a bigger one and it's better, then keep going that direction. If it doesn't, if it gets more stripy or not what you want, then go to a smaller one. And if that's not right, but it's improving, then you know you're going the right direction.
That's what makes the Tiger Rapids so unique. Is everyone's going to be different, even if you're using the same threads and the same technique. By the tension, by the diameter of the blanks, all of it makes. That's what's so unique about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Scott Troop came out with this 20 year, or 50, at least probably 15 to 18 years ago.
Yeah.
He was showing me, and it wasn't as perfected as it is now, but it's an amazing thing. I have quite a few Tiger Wrap rods in the Batson collection.
I think he came out with that article in 2003.
Yep. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, the one in Rod Crafters.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, it's really a wonderful technique. It's really pretty quick as compared to some of the other techniques. You put your base wrap on, you put 3 coats of finish on, let it harden really good, so that if you do have to make several tests on that finish, it's hard enough not to indent. It may indent a little bit, but as soon as you unwrap it, it'll come back to life. And you know, it's something you may have to experiment with, but don't get frustrated with it. And it's not like a cross wrap. If you mess up a cross wrap, let's say it took you 4 or 5 hours to put on the rod, and then you cut it off, that's lost. You've got to start from the beginning. With a Tiger Wrap, if you put it on there and it's not what you want, cut off the top layer, try a different gap. If it's better but not right, cut it off. Try a bigger gap. You still have your base, and you haven't lost all that time. You're just losing the time on the raw wraps that you're putting on top.
Nice.
So that's my little hint for today.
That's a pretty. That's a lot. That's a lot of information there, Doc.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's able to let that
Everybody knows how
sink
to
in.
find me online. So if you have any questions,
Yeah,
fire away.
give me your email, Doc. What's your email?
My email is DOCSKI377. Now this is going to tell you how old I am. At AOL.com.
If you ever have any questions,
I'm always there. I probably spend 5 or 6 hours a day on the computer, just answering questions and trying to help people.
Nice.
You know, my thought now is the only thing I can do to help this craft is to just keep giving and giving and giving. I don't hold
Yes.
any secrets. There's no secrets. You know, I just like sharing, and I like watching people improve.
yeah, Doc was kind enough to give us over 200 weave patterns that we downloaded onto our website.
Yeah.
Over 2,000?
Oh, 2,000 maybe.
Yeah, over 2,000 weave patterns that we downloaded onto our website, free for anybody to use. This was a gift from Doc, and we worked together on this project and got them all up on our website, and it's a pretty comprehensive gift
And
to the rod building community.
Yeah, and we have several other rod builders, weavers,
Yes.
that have donated their wraps too. That, you know, maybe I helped them develop the wrap, and I had it in my catalog, and you know, I wrote him. I said, "Look, I'm going to do this. If you don't want yours, you know, online, tell me." And almost every single one of them said, "Share away." So that's what this needs to be. It needs to be about sharing. Otherwise, the craft gets smaller instead of bigger.
Yep, most definitely. We need to work with each other and continue this. Just another aspect of the whole fishing rod, the fishing experience, right? The fishing outdoor lifestyle, you know, is to build a rod. It's like building your own lure and catching a fish, building your own rod. I mean, just to go fishing with the family, and so many good memories are made that way.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than when I started trying to learn. Nobody would share anything. And if somebody did, they got yelled at for it. So now it's easier to learn from basics to intermediates to weaving, everything. People are out there willing to share and help out and teach. And that's very important in this industry, I think. How do you guys feel?
Most definitely. I remember when I was a kid and my dad started to share, people were getting mad at him, but I mean, my dad made a point of it to wanting to help people learn. I mean, and just like Doc, I mean, that's the way the mentality was, 30, 40 years ago, is you don't share your craft because you don't want somebody to, take that part of your business away. But nowadays with the internet and people like Doc and other people in the industry that want to share, with the technology now, look at, we're talking, 4 of us talking from different parts of the country, on a podcast. I mean, that's just craziness, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not that old. I'm born in the 60s, but still, it's still kind of crazy to think about. But with the information age now, you can learn anything by going on and doing a podcast or going on YouTube. You could learn how to be a wood carver. You could do so many different things nowadays with the information age that we have. That why not take advantage of it?
Right.
Exactly.
You can Google search anything.
You can Google search anything.
Anything.
Anybody can be a genius.
My granddaughter talked me into buying a game called a Nintendo Swift.
Oh, look at you.
What?
A Nintendo Swift.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a little handheld computer game.
It's like the it's the modern Game Boy.
I kind of got addicted to it, but I got involved in this game that I got stuck. I couldn't get past this one monster. So what did I do? I got on the computer. How do I beat this monster in Zelda?
Let's go.
There's like 30 different answers. So, same thing with rod building. I think if I ever get frustrated with rod building, it's when people say, this is the only way you can do something.
Yeah.
That is a crock.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to do it. I may not agree with every way, and not everybody agrees with my way. That's what it's all about. It's sharing different techniques and different possibilities.
Exactly.
And finding something that works for you.
Yeah.
So, it's wonderful nowadays. I was like Tiffany when I first started. I was very fortunate. I ran into Jean Harrington of Parnell Rod, and she taught me the basics of a custom rod. My dad taught me wrapping, but it wasn't a custom rod. And Jean taught me the basics, and I just thought to myself, it took so long to get here. I need to cut the curve for some of the new people coming up. I had a little hand on our young gentleman down there on the bottom picture, Alex. For me, it's fun now watching a new guy get better and better and better and better.
Right.
It's a wonderful craft, and it's so good to share with people. And I think when I first started, the thing that I promoted in my first video was, okay, this rod building thing is great for the fisherman, but it's also great for the father to take his daughter or his son. They build a rod together during the winter when it's freezing cold and all that white stuff's on the ground and the water's hard as rock. And then in the springtime, they go out and they fish with this gear that they made. It's a blessing.
Nothing like it, that's for sure.
That is heartfelt. That is heartfelt.
Yep.
Hey, Tiffany, can I interrupt for a moment and ask you, who's sponsoring us today?
The fishing broker is sponsoring us today.
Oh, good. We all need a sponsor.
Amen to that.
Tell us about Fishing Booker.
No, it's an incredible company that's basically you book fishing trips and stuff online. So go to Fishing Booker and look at all the different stuff that they do. They're incredible and they're really good with the industry and stuff.
I
Excellent.
understand that they are widely used, and wherever you want to go fish, you can check with those folks, and they will just connect you and make it happen for you and make it simple. We like simple. We don't get enough simple.
Yeah,
Yeah, simple's
exactly.
good. I like those easy buttons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was easy.
Hey Doc, I know I have a question for you. It's kind of a little off the topic, but I think Alex would get a kick out of this one. When you were teaching me and Alex, did you think that we were moving in?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
When you were teaching me and Alex on rod building, did you think we're moving into your house?
No, no.
Did you hear her, Doc?
Yeah.
She was wondering. She was wondering if you thought they were moving in because they spent so much time there.
No, no. And if you did move in, I wouldn't care. I love the company.
All right, Alex, let's
I
go.
do.
Heyo.
Alex spent a good portion of the time over at my house in California, in South El Monte there. In fact, um, when I go home after this, I'm going to be sitting in the chair you gave me.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna be up there visiting you in a couple, maybe 2 weeks. I was trying
In
to keep it
2
a
weeks?
surprise. Yeah, at the end of the month, I'll be up there.
Alright.
Exactly 2 weeks on the 28th.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alex, I
Stopping
didn't
by.
tell them. I didn't tell them you were
No, well,
coming. I kept my
I was
mouth
talking
shut.
yeah, I was organizing with Rocky, and then there was a little bit of a
Well, I already knew he was coming because
Oh, you did?
yeah, well, Rocky sprung it on me.
Oh, okay. Well,
Rocky spilled the
I was trying to
beans.
surprise you. No, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be super fun.
Well, I hope that I can spend some time at the table with you and some time on the boat, and
Absolutely.
maybe we can. I'm not quite the salmon fisherman that this guy is, but maybe we'll get lucky. Even
Absolutely.
blind squirrels find nuts.
Oh, I'm
There's
excited
a
to be
bunch
up
of.
there.
If you can't go out and catch a salmon right now in Washington, there's a problem. There's so many fish out there right now, and the crabbing has been amazing. We live in Dungeness Bay, so Dungeness crab. So it should be a no-brainer. Even Doc can catch a fish.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have to convince you. Once I'm up there, I'm gonna have to convince you guys to come down to do the Mission Fish event.
The what?
Mission Fish.
Oh,
With Barber?
oh,
Yeah.
Barber. Yeah, I love
It's
him.
on, yeah,
He's a great guy, and he's taking care of my brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
We support his program for sure with rods.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good.
What do you have in front of you? I see a blank.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a blank.
Well, I knew we were going to talk about some of the blanks that we like, and so it's funny that Bill talked about the Judge, but I got my Judge live bait 810 light, the 15 to 30.
Yeah.
And I built this, and I've been having a lot of fun with the spotties and the calicos, and just, there's not so much of that in Hawaii where you can just catch them and throw them back as much. Everyone wants to eat everything. So it's fun to just get out there and just, hook them and play a little tug of war. And then the other one I got, because it's tuna season, I got one of those RX6s. I think it's the RCJB 90 XXH.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really excited to get that and hang some big tunas on it. It's
Where are you now? Are you in Hawaii or are you in California?
No, I'm back in Southern California. I kind of mission accomplished over there, did what I was, trying to do.
Good.
And it made a lot of sense to come back and spend some time with my family and spending so much time with all my friends' family and stuff,
Good.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. I've been building getting a lot of the shift change, because a lot of my surf rods, my slide rods, I don't think I'm going to be throwing any, jigs with a 13-foot Alua stick off the freelance, So It took me a couple weeks to get some, like the calico rod, get some tuna stuff going. So now I'm ready to go back out in these Southern California waters and do some damage.
Good. I know the fish are biting out there right now.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good. There's people are out there, and it's on the hunt is on.
Yeah, good.
For the listeners that are out there, if you guys have any questions, right now is the perfect time for you guys to ask Doc Ski anything about rod building. So if you have any questions, ask away. I'll be watching for your questions.
Excellent. When does your classes start, Tiffany?
Well, we just started the first 18 weeks. We got about 19 people from this podcast there, and a couple from you guys, and a couple from the SEO work we've done, but majority of the people have come from this podcast. Hi Daniel. Everyone's starting to say hi now. And it's pretty much, to me right now, that's full 20 people, because trying to watch 20 people doing stuff when we start getting into the actual rod building is going to be kind of difficult because your screen's only yay big. But this group seems pretty enthusiastic. A lot of people, contact me outside of class. On Sunday, we're going to be going through the power and action, different types of blanks types of fishing that they're going to be doing. We're going to go into the materials that Alps are made of, and going through all the components and what they're made of. And then we'll start picking out the blanks and the components. So tell Becky to be ready for me, because she's probably going to get a slew of orders once they see what all these materials are and what they can do for them on the water.
Excellent. If you have any questions that you can't ask her, that you can't answer, I'll be more than happy to help you out. I know a little bit about the product line.
I think you do.
I would imagine so.
So
Nice.
it's just the Alps to me now is like the number one guides to me are the Alps and the Alps reel seats. Those have lasted me forever, where other manufacturers have broke or cracked or something, but I've completely fell in love with the Alps.
Well,
That's my go-to.
We do. We take a lot of pride in what we build. We want to build the best, to last long, and we always have inventory. That's what people like us too. You can call up. We're going to have it for you. But yeah, the Alps product line is probably the number one rod building product line in the nation right now, in regards to availability and quality. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, not to butt in here, but we talked about this a little bit last week. One of the things that I really like is, I build a lot of different rods, and you got to static test everything. You got to do all this, all the setting it up, and then we have the build plans for Batson, where if you have a rod and you don't know where to start, it gives you a place. Okay, hey, these are where the guides should go. Then you can start from there and move them as you need, and it makes your life a lot easier rather than having to start everything from scratch all the time.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. And I'm sure Tiffany lets her students know, if you do pick a rain shadow blank, that we do have a starting point for everything, as far as the guide spacing, the suggested handle lengths, and all the reel seat sizes and everything. It's a really good place for people to start. I mean, this is not set in stone, because everybody is a little different. I have shorter arms. Maybe my grips will be a little bit smaller, but it gives you a really good starting point.
Exactly. In the 18-week class, each of the students get a free rain shadow blank, which we'll be discussing on Sunday. And then we'll go over each of those specs, on your website, on the specs of the rods and the placements and everything. And then they can look at those components and we can order those. And so it's pretty much, it's not like, the classes aren't like the 1-2 wham pam thank you ma'am type classes.
Right.
It really is going to get them into the nitty gritty of rod building, knowing what the blanks do, the action of the blanks, everything that they need to know about building on a rod, not just to make it look pretty and here's some glides I'm going to throw at you. No, you've got to really know what you're building and really get into it. And that's what this 18-week classes are. The next 18-week class is probably not going to start until like October. We do have 6-week classes in between, but get in on the 18-week class because that's gonna, really show you more than just making a rod look pretty.
That's kind of like taking an 18-day trip compared to a 3-day trip on a fishing boat.
Exactly.
I get to listen to Tiffany do these classes, and I really enjoy her. I mean, I've known Tiffany a while now, and I can really pick up on her excitement level and enjoyment level, really, of being a teacher like that. And then I hear then the people that her students, they pick up on that and they mirror it, and the interaction is just so positive and helpful, and such a feel good thing that she really develops a relationship with her students. And then another thing that she's become really good at is bringing people over to the Batson side, wherever they were getting their products from, because one is quality, and two, Bill, you just mentioned it, immediate availability, and those are huge benefits. And so I really see people trusting Tiffany to get them what they need, and they can get it quickly at a fair price, and all of that, and it feels good. And those relationships, I mean, like, we have all the people over on the side sending us messages. I mean, here's one about about Doc and all the great stuff he's done, and somebody asking if Tiffany and Bill can talk about ReelQuick in the Bratson product line soon. And then Mike Donato talking about his dad built him a rod in 1962 and he still has it. And people that have those old rods, sure, it's nice to have a brand new blank and build from there, but sometimes we all have in our garage a boneyard of old rods, and some of those are old beloved blanks that they just need a little tending to, refurbishing. And once that's done in your hand out on the water, it once again becomes that beloved feel that you knew and loved so much. And so like to see people talking about that too.
Yeah, and just to answer your question a little bit more specifically, depending on who you talk to and who's going to build the rod for you, Mike, or who's going to rewrap it is what we would call it. If you bring it to them, they should be able to give you an idea of what they can recreate, if they have the right color, if this, that, or the third. And so it's pretty easy to get it, apples to apples, or to find out if that's possible. I just, send over a couple pictures to somebody like myself or Tiffany, and then, we'll tell you, hey, this color's, this good broad color does, they don't make it anymore. So we may have to transition to something a little lighter. But structurally, It should be pretty easy to refurbish what you have in a modern sense.
Yeah.
Here's a good question for Doc too. Fishing Matt Ryan, how hard is it to fix a mistake?
I have not run into, other than breakage. Okay, if a rod breaks, that's all bets are off. But if you make a mistake in building, I have not run into a problem yet that I haven't been able to fix. It may take some thinking outside the box occasionally, especially in some of the decorative wraps. I've broken so many threads, and other builders I know would just cut it off and start over. I go, wait a minute, I got too many hours in here. There's got to be a way. And just a real quick one, I broke a thread once in a weed, right in the middle of it. So there's this stark line right down the middle of this fish that doesn't belong there. Now, how am I going to get a thread in there? So I sat and I thought and I thought and I thought, and I finally came up with the idea. I took some thread, the same thread that I broke, and I put it on a piece of plastic, and I put color preserver on it and stretched it and made it real tight, let it dry, and then I cut the exact length I needed and glued it in place. You couldn't tell that I didn't wrap it there. So there's always ways to fix things. If you don't know how to fix something, it's easy. Write somebody, write me, write any of the other great rod builders that are willing to share their knowledge. We're all willing to help and give you ideas of how you might be able to conquer some mistakes.
Yeah, through the building process, you build so many rods. You find ways to. I mean, I used to use this all the time. Well, Black Sharpie is your best friend sometimes, but nobody would ever know, right? But Black Sharpie might be your best friend sometimes, if you thread rolls or something. You need it.
It's the same thing in a lot of industries.
Yeah, exactly.
Rocky fish mount. If you make it a little scrape on the bottom edge of a fish, you just draw a line on it.
Yeah.
With a Black Sharpie, you're right. There's so many things you can fix with a Black Sharpie.
Yeah, and
often the mistake is in the eye of the builder, and only in the eye of the builder.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm thinking
nobody would ever see some of these things we talk about. You'll look at a rod and go, "Oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that," but nobody could pick it apart. Maybe a guy like Doc or me or some of these guys that have been around and seen a lot of different rods. Your dirty side and your clean side, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But nobody would ever notice except the builder himself, right?
Well, I'll tell you a story about that. So Tiffany builds a set of identical rods for the boat, and we're out fishing with them, and somebody's complimenting on her on how great these rods look. And she says something I about tried to find me something to bop her with for. She says, well, there's a mistake on one of them. Well, they went the fishing trip. Everybody had to spend the rest of the day trying to find the wrapping mistake on one of the rods, which they never did. But Tiffany knows that there's one there. The rest of the world would never know.
We all do, don't we, Alex?
Oh yeah. Well, but it's just like you said, like I used to be like super worried about what everyone, and it's like Doc's, looks at the rods and goes, no one will know but you. And like, it's also like, I'm a big fan of Ron Swanson. And so there's an episode of Parks and Recreation where they're building these chairs and they need them like urgently, right? And all of a sudden, Ron is destroying one of the chairs. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? We need these chairs. And he looks him dead in the eye and he goes, it was too perfect. It looked like a machine made it. And I think about that a lot because it's just like, these are handmade. These are, obviously we want to strive for a very high quality, but like perfection is like, it's relative, so, again, you want to do your best, but there's nothing is going to be perfect, No. And that's just kind of one of the funny things. Like you also don't want a rod to look like a machine made it either, So
that's right. They're handcrafted.
Exactly.
Handcrafted uniquely. We got just a couple of minutes left here. I mean, that's an hour that went by awful fast.
Oh, wow.
We were having fun. I just want to remind everyone that Fishing Booker is helping us out here today, and go to their site when you want to put together a fishing trip, or just to get some ideas for where you might want to go on a fishing trip, and then let them make it easy for you. And for myself, hey, I just want to thank all four of you for an opportunity to hang out together for an hour.
Absolutely.
Well,
likewise.
We appreciate you. Tiffany, keep up the great work. Your passion and your teaching these people is great for our industry. Batson is happy to be a partner with you. And I just hope and pray everything works out great for you. Keep up the good work.
It's been an honor and a pleasure having you guys be by my side. I really appreciate it. But I got one question for Doc before we head out here. And everybody needs to know this saying because Doc said this to me and Alex every time we got frustrated because our work wasn't perfect. I want to hear it again, and I know Alex wants to hear it again from you. When we make mistakes, it's not about
Ah, it's not about perfection. It's about progress.
exactly.
I kind of stole that from AA, but it's the truth. It's the truth in everything, not just rod building.
Right.
It's the truth in everything.
Right.
We can't get perfect. There's only one perfect.
Yeah.
Okay? But we can progress
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. We're getting better.
When you stop moving forward, you're starting to move back.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Perfect.
the day you stop learning is the day you need to quit.
That's it. Always something to learn. I actually learn stuff from people that I'm teaching something. I actually have learned a lot of tricks from people that I've taught.
Yeah.
Ryan is one perfect case. We were on our way to the Rollo event, and Todd Dobrowski was in the back seat. I was in the front seat, and Ryan goes, "Hey Doc, do you think you could make a tiger with just paint?" And Todd said, "No, be too flat. It won't do this." And I thought to myself, "Yeah, maybe you can." And maybe I'll bring it next time I come on. I have a sample of a tiger wrap. There's not a stick of thread on it. It's all done with paint.
Nice.
We use thread to make the template, but it's all paint.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think that's about all we're allowed to give time for today. I can't wait to have you guys, all of you guys, back on. It's, it's a pleasure to have you guys with us. It feels like we're having a party. So let's party again soon.
Party
Absolutely.
on!
And
All
thank
right,
all the
thank you.
listeners. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
See you
Bye,
soon.
y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.